The One Piece manga serie is one of the most detailed manga ever written, and there are many characters who are complicated and have a lot of details to them. But for today's video, we'll be looking at Roronoa Zoro, the right-hand man of the future Pirate King. He's one of my favorite characters in this series, and in this video I'm going to tell you guys his entire story before he joined the Straw Hats, starting from when he was a little boy all the way to joining Luffy in East Blue. Zoro grew up in Shimotsuki village, which is a pretty peaceful village. He was trained by Kushiro, who is the master of the Ishin Dojo, and Kuina's father, who is Zoro's childhood rival. Zoro spent most of his childhood training, and he was strong enough to defeat most adults, but he could never defeat Kuina, the daughter of the dojo's master. After their 2000s fight, and Zoro losing all of them, he decided to challenge Kuina for one last fight using real swords. Kuina defeated Zoro yet again, despite him training harder than ever. After their battle, Zoro told her about his dream in becoming the greatest swordsman in the world, and Kuina cried and confided in him that she too shared the same dream, but since she was a girl, her father had told her that her fighting potential would decrease as her body matured, so she saw she could never attain her dream. Zoro quickly got annoyed by her attitude and told her that if he ever managed to defeat her, it would be because he was more skilled, not because she was a girl. And after that night, the two made a promise that one of them had to become the strongest swordsman in the world. Unfortunately, the very next day, Zoro learned about Kuina's fatal fall down the stairs of the dojo, which led to her death. With anger and disappointment for Kuina not having fulfilling her promise, he took it upon himself and asked Kushiro for her sword, which he then developed his signature Centurio, holding his own two swords in each hand and Kuina's clenched between his teeth. Zoro eventually learns of Dracul Mihawk, who holds the title for the greatest swordsman in the world. After learning this, he sets off to sea to challenge him in a duel and defeat him for the title. But Zoro, having no skills in navigation, lost his way at sea and could not find his way home. In order to survive on his own, he took on bounties to pay for living expenses. For just wanting to survive, he became famously known in East Blue as the Pirate Hunter, and even in the Grand Line as Baroquework, another infamous pirate group, had heard of him. He was even considered the greatest swordsman of East Blue. During his travel, he met and befriended two bounty hunters, Johnny and Yosaku. Having heard of his reputation, Baroquework offered Zoro the chance to join their organization, but Zoro refused and said that he'll only accept if he was made the leader. He then killed Mr. Seven, the agent who offered him the position, in self-defense. Zoro later arrived in Shell's town, which is where he met Luffy, and his grand adventure began. Zoro's family was never truly mentioned by Oda in the series, but there have been many theories around Zoro's father and where he truly comes from. To start off with, Zoro was probably born in Wano, the land of samurais. The reason for this is that Zoro is an amazing swordsman, and people have even compared him to the samurais of Wano. He was trained under Kushiro, who we know comes from Wano. So Oda is making it really obvious that Zoro does have some connections to Wano. People have speculated that Zoro's father is Shimotsuki Ushimaru, a samurai who went up against Kaido and was imprisoned for many days, because in chapter 1023, Kawamatsu and Hyogoro Both talk about Zoro looking almost identical to Shimotsuki Ushimaru when he was younger. If Shimotsuki Ushimaru is Zoro's father, then that would mean that Zoro and Kuina are related, since Kuina is from that clan. So I'm not too sure how I would feel about this being true. Now, I know there was never really any love interest between them two, but I know a lot of people have been shipping them for many years. It would probably weird out a lot of fans if they were really related. But a lot of evidence points to this being true, so most likely they are related. Until we get more information from Oda, this is pretty much all we know right now from Zoro's past. So until next time when we get more information about Zoro's true identity.